We're not going to be in the word, but I have prepared something that I want to talk to y'all about. But go with me to Proverbs. Proverbs, the 4th chapter, and it's going to go from 20 through 27. Proverbs, the 4th chapter, 20 through 27. And it says, my son, attend to my words and incline thine ear unto my sayings. This seems like a father is talking to his son and giving him some very important information. Listen, son. Listen. Let them not depart from thine eyes. Keep them in the midst of thine heart. Now, what heart is he talking about? For they are like unto those that find them and help to all their flesh. Keep thine heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Again, I ask you again, what heart is he talking about? He's talking about the man.
Amen.
And he says, keep that heart with all diligence. Letting us know there's some work to be done. Because there's all kinds of things that's going to come to the heart, to the mind. The heart, he's talking about, is the mind. But the mind is, and I believe now, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, are the thoughts that come from the heart. That's the mind. And now we got to work at keeping this thing. Diligence means you got to do something. It ain't gonna be just that easy. I'm gonna say this while it's on my mind, because if I keep going, I'm gonna forget it. But sometimes it be some trouble in your life, in my life, in everybody's life, and especially in a Christian's life who's trying to live right. Amen. There's some trouble. Amen. This is my most pleasurable time when I'm among brothers and sisters. Amen. I got some peace. Amen. But when I leave and step out those doors, seems like everything coming from this way and that way. And you know where it's hitting me at? Upside my head. It's hitting me in my mind. Trying to mess up my mind. But see, we got to guard the mind. We got to guard. There's some work to be done. It says, put away from thee a forward mouth and perverse lips put forth from thee. You be talking loud and saying nothing. Just making a whole lot of noise. But ain't making no sense about what's coming out of your mouth. Put that stuff from you. See, we got some work to be done. Let thine eyes look right on, and let thine eyelids look straight before thee. Ponder the path of thy feet, and let all thy ways be established. Turn not to the right hand, nor to the left. Remove thy foot from evil. It's some work to be done. And if you say you got everything all together, I ain't gonna sit up here and tell nobody I got it all together. I ain't gonna tell that lie. Because if I say it, that's what it is. It's a lie. But I tell you what I am doing, I'm working on it.
Amen.
I fall down and I get up.
Yes.
You fall down and you get up. Don't stay down.
Amen.
It's some work to be done. Luke says it like this in Luke 6:45. Luke says, a good man. You see, a good man now. And I'm gonna put something in there too, because I believe you talking about man and woman. A good woman. Out of a good man, out of the good treasure of his heart, bringing forth that which is good. A good man, out of the good treasure of your heart, you gonna bring something forth good. It's only two kinds of men. And he goes on to say, and an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is evil.
Right.
For of the abundance of the heart his mouth speaketh. If it's in there, eventually it's gonna come out. I know I'm pointing at this, but I mean this. When we say something about the heart, it always seems like it makes this here triggers the way it beats us. Seems like it's gonna beat a little faster or something like that. So we always point at this, but this is not the heart. It's the blood part. But the heart, I'm talking about up here, the heart of the man. And then in Brother D, get for me Luke 6:43 and 44.
For a good tree bringeth not forth corrupt fruit, neither doeth the corrupt tree bringeth forth good fruit. For every tree is known by its own fruit. For of thorns men do not gather figs, nor with bramble bush gather they grapes.
Can't happen. If you got a good heart, I don't care what come up against you, you still gonna do that, or you gonna try your best to do that what is good. You might have, you got, all of us got some faults.
Amen.
Well, I'm gonna tell you that, Brother Williams said, I'm gonna talk about me. Then, if I talk about me, then it shouldn't hurt nobody else, but I'm gonna talk about me. I got some faults.
Amen.
But I try to do good.
Amen.
Paul said when he tried to do good, he said evil was always trouble. Letting you know it's a battle going on. And the battle was going on is trying to get the mind. They used to say kill the head and the body will follow. They didn't say it like that, but that's the way I gotta say it. It's to kill the head. If you step on a snake's head and you kill his head, his body gonna follow. If you kill your mind, if you let all of this stuff corrupt your mind and stuff like that, they're so bad to where you can't function. What you think gonna happen? So some work to be done. I remember coming up when I was in middle school and on up till I graduated and everything. They used to bring this commercial on TV. They would take a frying pan and sit it on the oven. They would heat it up. And then they would drop an egg inside of it. And then they would say, this is your mind on drugs. And at the end of the commercial, before it goes off, they would tell you, a mind is a terrible thing to lose. So I want to talk to you this morning about a man is a terrible thing to lose. Go with me to Daniel, the 4th chapter. Brother Green, I know you need a break sometime, and hey, you trying to get you a break. I know I ain't gonna finish this today, but hey, you gonna get you a break. Brother Thomas, read for me Daniel, the 4th chapter, 1, 2, and the 3rd verse.
Nebuchadnezzar the king unto all the people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth. Peace be multiplied unto you. I thought it's good to show the signs of wonders that the high God has brought toward me. Now, how great are the signs, and how mighty are his wonders. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion is from generation to generation.
Okay. Nebuchadnezzar the king unto all people, nations, languages that dwell in all the earth. Peace be multiplied unto you. I think it good to show the signs and wonders that the high God have wrought towards me. Nebuchadnezzar is giving God all this praise. And I was wondering, why is he giving God all this praise? And he says, how great are his signs and how mighty are his wonders. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion is from generation to generations. We're going to back up one more chapter for right now. Because God showed Nebuchadnezzar, I'm God. You just my creation, but I'm God. And he had to show Nebuchadnezzar that you ain't who you think you is. In Daniel, the 3rd chapter. Now we might go back and forth from 2, 3, and 4. But we in the 3rd chapter now. Because he done gave God all this praise, and I wonder why did he give God all of this praise. But over in Daniel, the 3rd chapter, he said Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold whose height was 3 score cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. And he set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. Now this thing was 90 feet tall.
Wow.
9 feet wide. 3 score is 60 feet. A cubit is 1.5 foot from here to here. I measured mine last night to make sure. 18 inches. 90 feet tall. 9 feet wide. But one thing I don't know whether the image that he set up, was it of himself or of his God. But one thing I do know, it was an image.
Right.
And ain't no man supposed to bow down to no image.
Right.
Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to and gathered together the prince, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the province to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Then the prince, the governors and captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the province were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. See, this thing is made by hands.
Amen.
This thing was man-made. This thing couldn't walk. It couldn't talk. It couldn't see. It couldn't feel. It couldn't breathe. It wasn't nothing.
Amen.
An image. But Nebuchadnezzar wants you to come and bow down. Everybody. Then an herald cried aloud to you, it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, doves chiming, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up.
Mm-hmm.
And whoso falleth not down and worship shall be the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. See, this thing is serious now.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't fall down and worship this image that I done set up, I'm going to put you in the fire. I'm going to put you in the fire. Therefore, at that time, and all the people heard the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, the sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshiped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar, the king, had set up. They fallen down and worshiping something that don't have no life in it.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk to it, you can't talk about it. If you go up there and step on his toe and hurt it, it ain't got no feelings.
Uh-huh.
It's an image. You gotta have a strong man. Wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. They spake and said to King Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and doves chiming, and all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worship and whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do you not serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? See, Nebuchadnezzar had more than that golden statue what he had put up, because it said gods. So he got more than one. He just worshiping all of these here things that ain't no good. Yeah, that ain't got no life in them. Ain't got no breath in them. He can talk to them, but they can't talk back. So when he talked to them, in his mind, he thinking, oh, they saying something to him, but see, he done lost his mind.
Right.
He done lost his mind. He thinking, these things not talking back to you. Now if ye be ready, And what time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, cymbal, psaltery, and the dogs chiming, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hand? See, I know he done lost his mind now.
Right.
See, now he done bumped his head. He's challenging the Most High. Who is that God that's going to deliver you out of my hands? As if he is somebody.
Come on now.
See, we got these men that's up and that's running the country and everything right now today. I didn't mean to get up on this, but hey, I'm gonna say it anyway. They think they got more power
Amen.
Say that.
Amen.
Say it.
than what they supposed. These people supposed to look out for the people.
Amen.
That's what you're positioned for, to look out for the people, not to sit up there and act like I gotta have more power and more power. People walking around here homeless and all this kind of stuff like that there. And the government's supposed to take care of the people.
Amen. Amen.
And yeah, Donald J. Trump, I feel sorry for him. Sometimes I say things that I shouldn't say about Donald Trump. And every time I say it, I say, Lord, forgive me. And I ain't gonna tell y'all. Oh, Lord have mercy. I ain't gonna tell y'all what I say about it. Yeah, I know it ain't Christian life, but every time I say it, oh boy. But these men think they got more power
Amen.
than what they're supposed to have, instead of just sitting up there doing right by the people. And who is that God? That shall deliver you out of my hands. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. And I always be thinking in my mind, what they mean we not careful to answer thee in this matter? Well, I looked up in some other verse to kind of help me to get a little bit better understanding. The NIV in Daniel 3:16 through 18, it says, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied to him, King Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter. We ain't got to do that. If we are thrown into the blazing fire, into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it. And he will deliver us from your majesty's hand. But even if he does not, we want you to know, your majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up. We ain't gonna do it.
Amen.
You can do what you want to do to us. If God let me die in the fire, I'm going in the fire. But we ain't gonna worship that golden image which you done set up. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his vesture was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 1/7 more than it was wont to be heated. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's command was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. It burned up those men. Now I see our picture in my mind when I'm thinking about this furnace. I'm thinking that it's someplace that you could walk up on. Now I might be wrong. That you could walk up on, and then there's a big opening inside where you put all your whatever you're gonna burn, your wood and stuff like that there. And they picked up these men and threw them down in there. And the heat, they weren't intended to get burned up, but hey, they said that heat was so hot, it consumed them. And these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar, the king, was astounded and rose up in haste and spake and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire.
Yes.
And they have no hurt, and the form of the 4th is like the Son of God.
Yes.
Who is that God going to deliver you out of my hand? We are the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. My God, your God. He was in that midst of that fire, that when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were thrown into the midst of that fire, no hurt was come on them. Now, see, I done burnt myself. Hey, let me tell you something. Boy, when your skin hit that fire, it says, it's over with, but hey, that thing, oh man, it be hot. None of this happened to them.
Amen.
The clothes weren't burned up. The hair weren't burned up. They didn't even have the smell of, they said it says fire, but we say it's smoke. Because the fire give off smoke. But you couldn't even smell this on them or nothing like, no effect.
No.
God ruleth in the kingdom of men.
Amen.
Not men ruleth in the kingdom of God. God is the ruler. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. And the prince and governors and captains and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was an hair of their heads singed, neither were their clothes changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who have sent his angels and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word, and yielded their bodies that they might not serve nor worship any god, except their own God.
Mm.
Therefore I make a decree that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort.
Mm.
God showed up, and God showed out.
Amen. Glory to God.
You said what God, well, who is that gonna be able to deliver you out? What God gonna be able to deliver you out of my hand?
Amen.
We cannot sit here and think that God don't see everything
Amen.
we do.
Thank you.
He see everything
Amen.
what's going on. He knows your ups.
Hey, glory.
He knows your downs.
Hallelujah.
He knows everything about it. He knows me better than I know myself.
Amen.
Because he knows the thoughts before I even think it.
Thank you. Hallelujah.
A man is a terrible thing to lose.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna go no further because we're gonna pick up on back up in the 4th chapter of Daniel next Lord's Day. And
Hallelujah.
I see why he gave God the praise, but he still had to teach him a very important lesson, because he still was trying to make it seem as if though that he was somebody, and he's nobody. God is everything. God is everywhere. God is our all and our all. When we down and out, if we call on him, he gonna come. He gonna come. He give us a peace in the midst of the storm. We got a few minutes. Well, we got about a minute. Brother William.
Good job, brother. I appreciate it. And just to touch on what you were saying about Nebuchadnezzar. When they say we're not careful to answer you,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like saying, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
God, we serve.
Yeah.
That's why Nebuchadnezzar got mad.
Yeah. Brother D.
Appreciate the lesson, brother.
Mm-hmm.
God will show us that He is God, Almighty. And He showed Nebuchadnezzar, He'll show us in the day and time also. He's still on the throne.
Brother Thomas.
Good job, brother.
Brother KJ.
Oh, I think you did a good job. I think Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego did a good job, like putting on the whole armor of God, so to speak.
Mhm.
You know, 'cause in Ephesians chapter 6, it talks about putting on the whole armor of God. It says you may be able to withstand the evil days, and after having done all of the stand there.
Yeah, boy. That's a chip off the old block now. Yeah, that's a chip off the old block right there, Brother Jackson. Okay, that's my lesson. We'll pick up from chapter 4 next Lord's Day.
Good job.